Hey guys, what's going on? Today I've got the BougeRV Rocky portable cooler and freezer, specifically the 69 quart version, and let me tell you, this thing is a beast. It's packed with features that really set it apart from other coolers in its class. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know before deciding if this is the right one for you. So let's jump right in. Here's the box it comes in, and it arrived well packaged. Right out of the box, I absolutely love the design. It has a rugged look but still feels very well made and premium. The exterior is stainless steel, which not only gives it a high-end feel but also makes it durable and resistant to rust. Inside, it's powered by an LG compressor, known for being energy efficient and reliable. All the accessories you'll need to power this cooler are packed inside the unit itself, tucked neatly in a small box. Inside, you'll find the instruction manual, which walks you through all the settings and everything you need to know before getting started. You also get a DC power cable that plugs into your vehicle's cigarette lighter or a portable power station. Then, you've got the converter for plugging it into a standard wall outlet. And finally, there's this small plastic piece which is just a cover to protect the battery connectors inside the fridge when you're not using an internal battery. And that's pretty much everything that comes in the box. Inside the fridge, it is divided into two separate compartments, which is super useful because you can control the temperature on each side independently. That means you can set one side to freeze while the other side just cools your drinks or food. Each section comes with removable wire baskets that help you keep things organized. There's one on the bottom and one on the top. The left side is basically the same setup. These baskets make it easy to load and unload, but you can take them out if you prefer to use the space differently. A really cool feature is that the divider in the middle is removable, so if you take it out, you get access to the entire space as a single compartment. And since the divider has a built-in sensor, the cooler automatically switches to single zone mode and adjusts the temperature accordingly. The space inside is actually very generous. It's 69 quarts, which is more than enough for a multi-day trip. Depending on how you pack it, it can easily store food and drinks for about 3 to 5 people for several days. I'll leave the exact interior dimensions here on the screen so you can get a better idea of the space. And one more nice touch is that each compartment has its own built-in LED light, which makes it easy to see everything inside, even at night. Now, when it comes to the exterior design, right on the front you'll find a sturdy handle to open the lid. It has a really satisfying feel and adds to the premium build. On the right side is where you control the unit and set everything up. I'll go over all the settings in detail a bit later. This side also has one of the heavy-duty handles, which feels super solid when you lift it. There's also a handy quick guide printed directly on the side, which shows you how to operate the system. So if you forget something, you don't have to bring the manual with you. Now, if you look at the bottom section of the cooler, you'll find the main power port. Right next to it, there's a second port designed for connecting a solar panel. But that only works if you've installed the optional internal battery, which fits right into this compartment. Just keep in mind the battery isn't included with the unit, so you'll have to purchase it separately. I haven't tested it yet, but according to BougeRV, the internal battery can power the cooler for up to 10 hours in cooling mode, which would be super convenient for off-grid adventures. Moving to the back of the unit, there's nothing major to point out, just that same clean, rugged design that looks really good all around. On the left side, you'll find the other handle, and here's a fun little bonus. It comes with a built-in bottle opener, which is a nice touch for camping or outdoor gatherings. So that's pretty much everything you'll find on the outside, but one more cool feature is that you can actually change the direction of the lid. According to the manual, you're supposed to open it to a 90-degree angle to remove it, but in my experience it's closer to 70 or 80 degrees. Once it's off, you can flip it and reattach it to open from the other side. This is super helpful if you're working with limited space or need easier access depending on how you set up your gear. Now, when it comes to size, this cooler measures around 28 inches wide, 21.5 inches tall, and about 18 inches deep. As for the weight, it's close to 51 pounds, so it's definitely on the heavier side. That's why I'd recommend moving it with 2 people, especially when it's full of food and drinks. It's manageable, but having a second set of hands definitely makes it easier. Now, let's plug it in and get started with the testing. Once it's connected, just press this button to turn it on. In this case, you'll only see one temperature reading at first, and that is because the divider isn't in place yet. But watch this. As soon as you insert the divider, a second temperature reading shows up. It feels like magic, but it's actually the built-in sensor detecting the dual zone setup. Now, using the buttons on the left, you can adjust the temperature. If you want to switch between zones, just press the settings button and you'll be able to toggle and set each one individually. You can set either zone as low as -4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is perfect if you want to use one side as a freezer. Another thing you can do is press the settings button to switch between Eco mode and Max mode. Eco mode is great for saving energy, but I usually keep it on Max mode unless I'm running it on a limited power source, like a small power station or battery. Another setting you can tweak is the battery protection level. If you hold the settings button for a few seconds, it'll let you switch between low, medium and high battery protection modes. But if you really want to get the most out of this cooler, you can install the BougeRV app on your phone. It lets you control everything right from the app, which makes things a lot easier. The quickest way to get started is by scanning the QR code on the side of the cooler. It'll take you straight to the App Store so you can download it. Once you open the app, it'll ask you to create an account, and after that, you just scan the fridge and it'll connect instantly. From the app, you get access to all the same settings as on the control panel, but in a much more user-friendly way. You can adjust the temperature, switch between Eco and Max mode, and even set a control lock so pressing buttons on the fridge won't change anything. You can also switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius with just a tap. It's a really nice feature that makes using the cooler even more convenient. Right now, the temperature inside the cooler is 88 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 31 degrees Celsius. I set it to Max mode because I wanted to test how fast it could cool down. First to 0 degrees Celsius, where it starts freezing, and then all the way down to its minimum setting of -20 degrees Celsius. I started a timer and let it run. After just a few minutes, I wanted to check the noise level, and honestly, I thought it wasn't even working. It was that quiet. But then I felt a bit of air coming out, which showed me the compressor was definitely on. That really impressed me. The noise level is super low. So I let it keep running, and at just 29 minutes it had already reached 0 degrees Celsius. That's incredibly fast. It was cooling at about 1 degree per minute, which is impressive. I didn't open the lid during this time to avoid any interference with the cooling process. I also checked it with a thermal camera, and the heat dissipation was really solid. You could clearly see some warmer spots, but most of that was just from sunlight hitting the surface. The warmest part was one corner, which makes sense. That's where the exhaust fan is located, and that's where the hot air is pushed out. And just like that, at exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes, it hit -20 degrees Celsius. So it took about an hour to drop those final 20 degrees. That slower pace at the end makes sense. It's working harder to push past the freezing point and into deep freeze territory. So it definitely did a great job cooling down that fast. And you might think it must use a lot of power to pull that off. But actually it doesn't. This cooler is rated at 80 watts, but during my testing, even with the lid open to make it work harder, the power consumption stayed well below that. And that was while running in Max mode. If you switch it to Eco mode, it uses even less, dropping to up to 64 watts, which helps save energy while still keeping everything cool. Now, one of the ways I plan to use this cooler is by powering it with a portable power station, like this Jackery Explorer 1000 V2. If you're using a power station, I highly recommend connecting it through the DC port using the cigarette lighter cable instead of the regular AC outlet. That's because using the DC port is much more efficient and helps avoid the double energy conversion loss you get when using AC. With DC, the power goes directly to the cooler without needing to be converted twice, so you get longer battery life and better overall performance. Also, when I checked the Jackery app, it estimated that the cooler would only last about 14 hours with this setup, but that's not really accurate. That estimate assumes the compressor is running non-stop, which isn't how these coolers actually work. In reality, once it reaches the set temperature, the compressor only runs for about 10 minutes each hour to maintain it. So you're only drawing power during those short bursts, which means your battery will last much longer than the app suggests. So if you're using Eco mode and you're just cooling, not freezing, You could actually get up to 3 days of use with a setup like this. That's one of the big advantages of compressor-style coolers. They're super energy efficient once they reach the target temperature. So, who would I recommend this cooler to? Well, if you're someone who loves camping, overlanding, road trips, or even just wants a reliable backup fridge for emergencies, this is a solid option. It's especially great for people who travel off-grid and need something energy efficient but powerful. Whether you're storing drinks, food, or even frozen items, the dual zone setup, fast cooling, and low noise make it super versatile. And with the app control and optional battery, it's a really smart solution for both convenience and mobility. If you're interested in this model or any of the other BougeRV Rocky cooler sizes, I'll leave all the links in the description below so you can check them out. If you decide to buy through my link, I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.